through the content of this course. First, I'll explain to you the very basics of Excel. This section is fundamental for those of you who have never used the program. If you find it too basic, feel free to jump ahead and start from the chapters that reflect your knowledge. Once we have covered the basics, I will show you a number of Excel best practices that will turn you into an advanced user. Then we will start learning about Excel functions. We will cover all functions that are typically used for the purposes of financial modeling. The next section of the course is a case study and consists in building a complete P&L from scratch. This exercise would allow us to apply in practice what we have learned in the previous sections. Then you will be ready to start learning more about financial modeling. You will learn how to build horizontal and vertical models, how to calculate ratios and use them as a predictor, how to perform base analysis, and many other concepts that are fundamental for financial modelers. In the valuation section of the course, I will teach you how to create a fantastic and professional discounted cash flow valuation model. I will show you how to create sophisticated and good-looking charts which will accompany your valuation models, which will blend the Excel financial modeling and valuation skills that you have acquired throughout the course. You will even get a complete refund if you are not satisfied with the content of this course within 30 days of completing it. As you can see, we have lots of work ahead of us. Dive straight in and let's begin this journey together. Hi guys, welcome to the first chapter in this course. It is suitable for those of you who are beginners in Excel. These lessons will teach you about Excel's structure, how to work with cells, rows, and columns, perform data entry, format Excel sheets, work with Excel functions and formulas, and how to work with cut, copy, paste, and paste special commands. For those of you who already know these basic concepts, feel free to jump ahead and start from the next chapter of the course. So, if you are new to Excel, this is the perfect place to start. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. In our first lesson, I'll introduce you to the structure of Excel sheets. We will learn more about each of the elements that you see on the screen. The top part of the Excel screen is called the ribbon. It is the strip of buttons and icons located above the work area. The ribbon has a number of tabs, such as Home, Insert, Page Layout, etc. Each tab contains relevant commands depending on the type of action that you would like to carry out. Below the ribbon, we have the workspace area. As you can see, Excel sheets are composed of multiple cells and contain many rows and columns. The letters from A to Z are used in order to make the various columns. The first one is A, while the second one is B, and so on. An Excel sheet contains 16,384 columns. That's a lot, right? We have a very similar thing with rows. Every row is identified by a number. We have 1, 2, 3, going all the way down to 1,048,576. To sum up, 16,384 columns and 1,048,576 rows. I'm sure you understand how powerful the program is by this point. And this is just one sheet. We can add as many sheets as we like by using the Insert Worksheet button. We can work contemporaneously on multiple sheets too. I'll show you how it's done a little later. So, in order to add a new sheet, we can use the Insert Sheet button. What if we want to delete a sheet? If that's the case, I can click on it with the right mouse button and select Delete Sheet. It is very easy to trace cells in Excel, thanks to the way sheets are organized. Every cell's coordinates are given by the letter and number corresponding to the column and row where it lies. So for example, the first letter in the worksheet is A1, given that it lies at the intersection of column A and row number 1. The only part of Excel's layouts that we haven't yet discussed are these two bars right here. This is the name box And this, here, is the formula bar. The name box shows the name of the active cell where we are at. For example, I can select a different cell, and its coordinates will be displayed in the name box. See what I mean? The formula bar allows us to edit or enter information, numbers, text, formulas, within a given cell. It allows us to visualize the formulas or the content of a cell. The formula bar is really useful when we start typing Excel functions too. Once you start typing, it displays suggestions of functions that you might be looking for. We will start learning more about Excel functions later on in the course, but for now, this will do. Thanks for watching. We already saw that every Excel spreadsheet is made of multiple rows and columns. Now is the right time to learn some operations that will allow us to modify rows and columns in Excel files. First off, when we need to select a row or a column, we need to click on it in the following way. The exact same thing is valid for rows. Alternatively, we can use keyboard shortcuts. Control and Spacebar for selecting a column, and Shift and Spacebar for selecting a row. Shortcuts allow us to work much faster. Now that we have selected a row or a column, there are several things we can do with it. We can select its size by dragging its border. We can insert a column on its left by using the right mouse button and then clicking on Insert. Finally, we can delete the respective column through a right-click and the Delete button. If you need to set a column or a row's size to a precise number, you can use the column and row width commands. By right-clicking on a selected column, I can find the column width command. Here it is. Then we need to select the column size. The same thing applies for rows. These are the operations that you will need to know when working with rows and columns. Thanks for watching. The Excel ribbon has 7 main tabs: Home, Insert, Page Layout, Formulas, Data, Review, and View. Other tabs could be added as well, but these are the 7 main ones. Each tab contains commands that you will need when working with Excel. In this video, I'll try to quickly walk you through their content. The Home tab contains some of the most frequently used commands. It includes buttons such as Cut, Copy, and Paste. Most of the formatting options should be found here as well. You will find features such as font, font size, borders, cell fill, etc. The Insert tab will let you add objects to your workbook. You can insert pivot tables, pictures, charts, etc. In some of our later videos, you will learn how to work with pivot tables and create professional charts. Page Layout contains options that help you organize the way the content of your sheet appears. For example, you can select the printable area of your sheet with the Set Print Area functionality. The Formula tab divides the functions in Excel into separate categories and features some formula auditing tools. Next, we have the Data tab, where we can find the commands for working with lists and groups of data. This is where some of Excel's data management tools are, such as filtering, cell grouping, and data sorting. Then there is also the Review tab, which allows you to proofread, comment, and protect your Excel spreadsheets. Finally, we have the View tab. You can use it in order to customize the way you see your work. You should know that Excel allows you to add some other tabs as well. As you can see, the Developer tab has been added here. It enables us to operate with macros. We will learn to add the Developer tab to the ribbon and how to work with macros later on in the course. This was our short overview of the Excel ribbon. Thanks for watching. In this video, I'll show you how to enter, edit, and delete text and numbers in an Excel spreadsheet. Whenever you want to modify the content of a cell, you first have to select it. You will know that you have selected a cell thanks to the black borders that the cell will have once it is selected. In addition to that, the respective row and column of the cell will be highlighted in orange, as you can see here. I've selected D4 and column D and the fourth row are highlighted. It is quite easy to enter content in a selected cell. You should simply start writing. For example, I'll type the days of the week. We will have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. In order to tell Excel to accept the value that we have written, we can hit Enter, one of the arrow keys, or Tab. The difference is that if you hit Enter when entering the data, the next cell that you will be at is the one below, while Tab will instead move you to the right. We have the same thing with numbers. Next to each of the days of the week, I'll type the numbers from 1 to 7. You can see that Excel aligns text to the left and numbers to the right. This allows us to understand how Excel reads the data that we've entered. Let's type another number below our column. For example, 8. It is quite possible that sometimes when you start modifying a cell, you will change your mind about doing it. By pressing the Escape key, the modification that you made would not be carried out. As you can see, I typed 8, but then pressed the Escape key, and the cell remains blank. None of the changes that I performed during edit mode are performed. We can use the F2 key when we need to edit the content of a cell. It activates the formula bar, and we can start writing. We can change the content of the cell, and then click Enter. If you want to delete the content of a cell, then you have two options. Use the Delete button on the keyboard or the Clear command in the Home tab. The difference between the two is that Delete leaves any previous formatting that you had, while Clear is able to remove the entire content of the cell. This is how you enter, edit, and delete data in Excel. In our next lesson, we will learn how to format our spreadsheets. Thanks for watching. There are many different options that will allow you to format the cells of your workbooks. You can find them either in the Home tab of the ribbon or through a right-click and selecting Format Cells. As you can see, you can change the font and font size of the selected cells from this part of the Home tab. Let's say that I would like to select multiple cells and change their font to Arial. I will select the cells first and then change their font from the box containing all fonts that are available in Excel. I'll also change the font size of these cells. Let's change it to 12. See? Pretty easy to do, right? We can use these buttons in order to put emphasis on text and numbers. For example, I'll click on this button and the selected cells will be put in bold. I'll click it again and the bold effect is removed. We have the same thing with italic and underline buttons. It is very easy to create borders for the cells that we have selected. I will click on the Borders button and select the type of border that I would like to apply. I think I'll select the All Borders option. And voila! We have our borders. Similarly, we can add all other types of borders. We just have to select which type of border we want. In case we want additional options, we can click on More Borders or open the Format Cells menu. We will be able to find additional options under the Border tab. We can select a border's thickness and color. For example, I will select a thicker border with a dark blue color and apply it to the outer borders of the selected cells. Here's the end result. If we want to change the fill of the cells that we've selected, we can do it from here. I'll color the selected cells in gray. In a very similar way, we can change the font color of the content within the cell by using the button on the right. Let's change the font color to white. Here it is. Let's provide a practical example. We have the following table, which contains 3 fields: name, company, and telephone number. As you can see, the table does not look very good right now. We need to use Excel's formatting options in order to improve its appearance. First off, I'll select the cells of the first column and align all of them to the left. We can use the Align Left button in order to do that. Then I'll do the same thing with the cells from the second column. Let's select them and click Align Left. Very well. The third column is aligned to the left. Given that these are telephone numbers, I would like to have them on the right. I'll select the cells and click on Align Right. Do you notice that the data in the top row does not seem aligned? The first and third columns are somewhat below the second one. Let's select the cells of the top row of the table and align them to the top. That's better. Now let's add a few extra formatting details to the table. Let's change the fill of all cells to white. I'll select the cells and use the Fill Color button in order to change their fill. Here it is. Now we need to emphasize that the top row is the title row of the table. I will change its font color to dark blue, and we'll put it in bold. That's better. The final detail, which will complete the table, will be to add a border below the title row. Let's open Format Cells and select the Border tab. Here we can choose the thickness of our border, its color, and exactly where to place it. I will use a dark blue color, given that the text is in dark blue. And here is our end result. Not bad for a start, right? These commands allow us to organize our data very neatly and efficiently. It was a pleasure showing you some of the formatting options in Excel. Don't go yet. We have lots of work ahead of us. One of the strongest features of Microsoft Excel is that it allows users to calculate numerical information using formulas. Just like a calculator, Excel can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Naturally, it can do a lot more than a calculator. In this lesson, we will learn how to create Excel formulas. It's a pretty straightforward task. We have to select the cell where we would like to create a formula. In this case, it will be D9. We already know how to activate the Edit Cell mode. We have to click F2. Every time when I want to start a formula, I have to use the equals or plus sign. There isn't any difference between the two of them. I'm accustomed to typing equal. Now Excel knows that we have started writing a formula. There are two main ways to include numbers in a formula. The first one is to type them directly here in the formula bar. For example, 7 plus 9. Excel then calculates the result of the formula, which is 16. The other way to include arguments in a formula is to use references within the sheet. As in this case, I have the two numbers 7 and 9 in the two cells above D7 and D8. We need a way that will allow us to point at these cells. When you are in edit mode, you can use the arrow keys or the mouse in order to select cells within the spreadsheet. Then, once you have selected a cell that you need, you can use the plus operator, which will allow me to select the next part of the formula. In this case, it is the cell D8. The big advantage of using cell references is that other users will be able to understand the reasoning behind your operations. You can always combine hard input in the form of numbers with cell references. There is no problem doing that. The typical math operators that you will need in Excel are the usual ones: plus for addition, minus for subtraction, star for multiplication, / for division, caret for degree elevation. Not forgetting parentheses in order to denote a modification to the usual order of operations. This is it for now. Next, we will cover a very interesting tool that can be added in Excel formulas: functions. If you want to be efficient and become a strong Excel user, you have to learn how to use Excel's functions. This course contains a whole chapter dedicated to functions, both basic and advanced. In this video, we will lay out the foundation which will facilitate our future work. Let's see how to insert a function in one of the cells of this sheet. First of all, we have to select the cell where we want to insert the function. And then there are a few different ways in which we can add the desired function. For example, we can type equal, and then type directly the function's name if we happen to know it. If that's not the case, we can search for the function that we need by clicking on this button here. The window that opened contained all Excel functions divided into categories. The purpose of each function is described at the bottom of the window. We can either search for a specific keyword or scroll down and find the function that we need manually. I will be looking for the if function. Okay, here it is. Let's select it. Once we have found the function, we can double-click on it and a new window pops up. This is where we need to type the function's arguments. We can click on each of them and read the description that is provided just below. Then we have to select the arguments of the function. Typically, these are references to other cells within the spreadsheet. In our example, the if function has 3 arguments. The first one is the logical test, which is the condition that we want to verify. The second one is the value that will be displayed if the result of the logical test is positive. That is, if the criterion is satisfied. And the third argument of the if function is the value that will be displayed if the result of the logical test is negative. Let's provide an example. I want the function to test whether the value in C9 is bigger than the value in D9. This is the first argument, the logical test. Let's type in the second argument, which is the value that will be displayed if the C9 is bigger than D9. I want to obtain bigger if that's the case. Then, as a third argument, I will select the value to be displayed if the result of the logical test is negative. In this case, we will have smaller. Finally, after we have selected the arguments of the function, we can press Enter and obtain the end result. Let's see the result of the function. Given that C9 is not bigger than D9, our formula displays smaller, which is correct. To be honest with you, experienced users rarely open the dialog box menu like we did. Much more frequently, they type a function's name directly in the formula bar and work directly from there. I'm sure that after completing this course, you will be doing that too. Copy and paste are among the most frequently used commands in Excel. Whenever you want to copy the content of a cell, you need to select it and either press Ctrl+C, the shortcut for copying, or right-click and select Copy. All experienced users use the Ctrl+C shortcut because it is much faster to perform. I suggest that you do the same thing. Here you can see how Excel shows us that we have copied the cell through these marching ends. That's very good, as at all times we will know what we have copied. We can copy as many cells as we would like, and then, after we have copied the cells, we need to select a cell where we would like to paste them. We can use Ctrl+V or right-click on the cell and select Paste. Even if we have copied multiple cells, we don't need to select multiple cells while pasting. We have to select the top left cell where we would like to paste. As you can see, all copied cells were pasted. If we use the Cut command instead of Copy, the entire content of the cells that we chose to cut will be moved across the sheet. I will press Ctrl+X. An alternative way of doing this was to press right-click and select Cut, and the marching ends will indicate the cells that we are about to cut. When we paste them in their new location, they will subsequently disappear from their previous location on the sheet. Very intuitive, right? This was our introduction to the Copy, Paste, and Cut commands. We will have the chance to apply them a number of times throughout the course, and by the end of the course, you will be able to use them with your eyes closed. Now that we learned how to use copy and paste, it is the right time to present to you an important paste optionality, Paste Special. In order to use Paste Special, we need to copy one or multiple cells, and then open the Paste Special dialog box. We can open it from the Home tab, clicking on the little arrow below the regular Paste button, or, much easier, by pressing Alt-E and S. Once we open the Paste Special dialog box, we can choose from a number of pasting options. For example, we can choose to paste only the formulas of the copied cells. Let's do this. Excel pastes only the formulas of the cells without any numbers. Alternatively, we can paste only the values of the copied cells. See? Only numbers. We don't have any formulas anymore. Paste Special allows you to choose from several different options. Later on in the course, we will continue to practice with Paste Special. This will do for now. Thanks for watching.